The clang of metal was the only heartbeat in Jack Reynolds's garage until she walked in, a woman in a rain-soaked leather jacket, eyes shadowed by something she wouldn't name. Her motorcycle was broken, but it wasn't the only thing that needed fixing. Jack thought he was done believing in second chances, but the look she gave him said otherwise. What neither of them knew was that her past wasn't finished with her yet. The sound of wrenches clinking against steel filled the small motorcycle shop on the edge of town. Oil stains marked the concrete floor like old scars, and the air smelled of gasoline, sweat, and determination. Jack Reynolds worked methodically, sleeves rolled up, a smudge of grease on his cheek as he tuned a carburetor. It was another long day at Reynolds Custom Motors, but he didn't mind. The work kept his hands busy and his mind quiet. His daughter, Emma, sat at the counter doing her homework, her legs swinging off the stool. At 10 years old, she already knew the difference between a spark plug and a piston. "Daddy," she said without looking up, "when's Mom coming back?" Jack paused, his wrench frozen mid-turn. He swallowed the ache that always came with that question. "She's not, sweetheart. But you've got me, right?" Emma gave a small nod, her ponytail bobbing. "You and the bikes?" He chuckled softly. "That's right. Me and the bikes." Just as he wiped his hands on a rag, the shop door creaked open. A gust of cool spring air swept in, carrying with it the scent of rain and something else. Lilacs, maybe? A woman stood in the doorway, her motorcycle helmet tucked under one arm. The bike she'd pushed in looked like it had seen better days. A vintage Triumph, faded blue with a cracked fuel line. "Can you fix her?" she asked, her voice low but steady. Jack studied her. She was about his age, maybe mid-30s, with tired eyes that spoke of too many sleepless nights. There was something guarded about her, like she'd built invisible walls and didn't let anyone close. "Yeah," Jack said finally. "I can fix her. Might take a few days, though." "That's fine," she replied. "I've got time." She gave her name as Claire. No last name, no story, and Jack didn't ask. He'd learned that people sometimes came to him not just to repair machines, but to fix what was broken inside them. Over the next few days, Claire returned often, saying she wanted to check on the bike, though Jack suspected she just didn't want to be alone. She watched him work, sometimes handing him tools, sometimes just sitting in silence. Emma took to her quickly, asking endless questions about where she'd ridden and what she'd seen. Claire's laughter, soft and uncertain at first, began to fill the shop like sunlight through dusty windows. Jack found himself looking forward to her visits. He caught himself smiling more, talking more, and little by little, the walls around Claire began to crack. One evening, while Emma was at a friend's house, Claire lingered after closing. Jack offered her coffee in mismatched mugs. They sat on the back steps of the shop, watching the sun melt behind the hills. "Used to be a singer," she said suddenly, staring into her cup. "Traveled with a band. We were good, until we weren't. I fell in love with the wrong person. Things got ugly. I left before it got worse." Jack listened quietly. "So you've been running," she nodded. "And you? What are you running from?" He smiled faintly. "A memory. My wife passed when Emma was 2. Cancer. I threw myself into the shop so I wouldn't have to think." The silence that followed was gentle, not heavy. Two people, both haunted by ghosts, finding comfort in shared quiet. When Claire's motorcycle was finally ready, she stood before it like facing an old friend. "Guess I should get going," she said softly. Jack felt a pang he couldn't hide. "You don't have to." She met his eyes, and something unspoken passed between them. An understanding, fragile and new. Weeks later, Claire returned. Not with a broken bike this time, but with a smile that reached her eyes. She'd found a small place nearby, was singing again at a local bar. Jack started stopping by after closing, Emma sometimes tagging along. The shop still smelled of oil and metal, but now there was laughter too. a melody of healing. And for the first time in years, Jack realized that maybe love, like an old engine, could be rebuilt if you had the courage to take it apart and start again.